Yo, what's up guys? Chapter 377 of Rent a Girlfriend just dropped. And yeah, let's just hop straight into it. This was one of the most hype chapters we have seen in a while. I'm not gonna lie, some crazy shit went down. They finally held hands, bro. You don't understand how crazy that is, but it was like not even like they've held hands before, but not like in this capacity, bro. Like, oh my god. We'll basically just start from the beginning. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the chapter was a little cringe. It was a little unreadable at times. I had to stop after like page 8 or 9, bro. But you know, sometimes you gotta push through and persevere. So that's what we did in this chapter. We start off with, I guess, Yamori's doing like a little photo shoot, I guess, for whatever her social media, and she's just talking with the photographer about like Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship, how it's kind of uneventful, nothing's really happening, but they think they're in love. Of course, not really praying on no one's downfall, but she's just hoping it goes well because, you know, she's friends with both of them, so it's like, of course she wants their relationship to go well. And yeah, she also says that Chizuru's cuter than her, whatever, that's just whatever. But right after that, we hop straight into the chapter. 377, My Girlfriend in Love 26. So, we end off from last chapter. Basically, it's the end of the date. They went and got hot pot, and Chizuru said, hey, we gotta talk about something. And that something being the status of their relationship, right? Yeah, and then basically where they were gonna go do this at was at the beach. Like, it was like a little pier or beach or something that they were gonna go after the dinner. And that's what Kazuya recommended to do. Yeah, so basically we're starting off the chapter at this, you know, pier beach area. And all around them is just, you know, couples displaying public affection or publicly displaying affection. I mean, it's the same thing, right? But yeah, there's a bunch of people kissing, making out, doing some other stuff, which is crazy. Like, first when they get there, you know, Chizuru's all happy. They have like a statue of the Statue of Liberty, and yeah, she's really just enjoying herself. You know, there's probably the nerves are probably still kicking in. For both of them, Kazuya especially, you can, like, we see it in the chapter because it's like, dude, he's like, oh damn, I should have drank more alcohol. And yeah, he's just in his head thinking about everything, and he's like thinking like, this is the peak of the date, like this is like where it's go time, this is where everything occurs, happens. Yeah, and then we get a whole page of Chizuru, just, you know, a cool little page of her and her outfit, hair blown in the breeze. Pretty good, and Kazuya's just saying, oh, how perfect she is, and, you know, how stunning and great she is, really. And the funniest thing I saw was, she's so divine that not even the playboys of YouTube, like, would come and try to approach her. So, I mean, that's funny, but, yeah, really just, we're getting, like, a vibe of the scene that we're in. Like, the feeling I'm getting from this chapter so far is, like, everything's gonna be okay. Surely, right? Everything seems to be going smoothly, and it seems to have been going too smoothly for me, at least. I think something's gonna happen, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Basically, and then yeah, we just jump back, and Kazuya's just thinking perverted thoughts all the time. I mean, it's just him, bro. It's just him. It's like, we can't do anything. We can't. It's like, dude. But yeah. They start to make a little small talk about the weather, clearing up, just simple stuff. And they just keep looking around and seeing people just making out. And the funny thing is Kazuya's getting embarrassed. You can see it, he's blushing and whatever. And then Chizuru has her little cat eyes. So, what does that mean? I'm not sure. Maybe she's curious. Who knows? But yeah. the next page, this is where I was like, dude, I can't do it right now, because I read the chapter that I had to leave it for a little bit. It was when there were people, you know, doing a little more than just, you know, holding hands, you know, or kissing behind a bush. And then, yeah, it's basically just Chizuru and Kazuya just getting a little embarrassed about it. It's like secondhand embarrassment because they're in this location that's like pretty romantic, and they're just, you know, it's just Kazuya, bro. So, yeah, he's just in his head thinking, oh, I gotta be careful what I say. I can't have the wrong intentions here. But yeah, man, I mean, at this point in the series, like, no crazy raunchy stuff needs to happen. Like, it'd be fine if it ends without any of that. I think it'd be a little forced. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that whole thing plays out. But yeah, they're basically just both uncomfortable a little bit, and Kazuya's just trying to make fun of like the situation that they're in, and then Chizuru's like, you know, kind of agreeing, but she's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those, she gives a response of like, yeah, that's crazy, but it's like, what if it was us though? Or maybe not, maybe that's not the vibe that she's giving off, but yeah. So the page after, we basically get a scene that was from a flashback of when Kazuya was talking to Sumi. I'm not sure because I remember them going on the date. Like I remember reading it, but I forgot what it was about. I think it was about just getting Sumi like more comfortable with going on dates with people. And I forgot that they came to this exact pier, but they came here. And I guess that's Kazuya's reasoning for coming back here, because he kind of knew the location a little bit. And basically what he's saying here is during that time, that was a point where he did not have feelings for, you know, Chizuru. And now we're here. So basically just looking back, reflecting back on the series on how much he's developed as a character. I don't really think he's developed as a character. I feel like movie arc was kind of like his whole character development, and we got to see, you know, him become a decent person. But after that, it kind of just like tapered off into him becoming more like just back to his degenerate ways, but not really crazy degenerate. I don't know. I feel like he hasn't really changed much as a character or developed in any meaningful sense since the movie arc. Yeah, I mean, he nothing's really happened. It's just him getting slowly closer to Chizuru. So, I guess we'll see, man. But yeah, Kazuya goes and remembers what Chizuru said. We have a mission, bro. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need to have a conclusion right here and right now. So yeah, they're walking along the pier. They're trying to get to a more secluded area. I guess at the edge of the pier. I mean, it looks in the panel, like in the page that we're given the artwork, that there are people there, and Kazuya's like while they're walking to the pier, it looks like there's people there, but once they get to the edge, there's no one there. And during this time when Kazuya's walking, he's just thinking about how long has it been since I fell in love with her, and yeah, he's just reminiscing of how they started as a rental girlfriend, you know, deal or whatever, and then now they're here. Yeah, man, I think this series is really good. Like, it's okay. I mean, it's not the best series ever, of course, simply just off the rental perspective of the series. Like, if it was just more of like he got cheated on and then he found Chizuru and then they did this whole thing, like I feel like the whole rental part of the whole series could have just been ignored and it would still be good. I don't know, I guess it's just an easy way to get people in, get attention for the series. But honestly, that whole aspect kind of turned it, at least for me, I didn't like it as much because of that, but the story overall is still good. But yeah, okay. And now jumping back, they're at the edge of the pier, and Kazuya's getting super nervous about how it's gonna end, like what's gonna happen from here, because this is the moment we've been building up for, right? This is where Chizuru's finally gonna give her response to Kazuya's, you know, unrequited feelings that have been like portrayed throughout the series. I mean, for the most part, at least to me, it looks like Chizuru has been slowly kind of pushing in favor of Kazuya. Like, I mean, it kind of be dumb if they don't get together by the end of it, but who knows? Hopefully there's a little more drama, a little more tension. It's not just like, yay, they get together and kumbaya, but that might be how the series ends because the author is working on his other series. So yeah, basically they're at the edge, and while Kazuya is, you know, thinking in his head he's nervous or whatever, he doesn't know what to do. Like in this situation, it's just like a super awkward situation where they're just kind of like, they're vibing in the silence, but the silence is very loud. That's a good way to put it, I guess. It's like they've been having fun, enjoying themselves this whole time, but now how do they transition into this more serious conversation? And yeah, basically after the whole incident of like, I wouldn't call it like a peeping Tom incident, but like more voyeurism, I would just call it like, once they started seeing a lot of the, you know, romantic stuff happening in the park, in like the beach area kind of that they're in, the beachfront, Chizuru started, you know, piping down a little bit. She stopped talking as much. Maybe she got more embarrassed, more nervous. But yeah, we don't really know because we don't get her like internal monologue all that much. We got a little bit of it a few chapters ago, and then we get it sparsely throughout the series. I wish we got more because, you know, of course that doesn't make it as much of a shonen, you know, series, but, you know, if it's a romance series, but I guess it's more centered around comedy, it kind of makes sense that we get more of like the male protagonist perspective. And yeah, that's kind of why I like Lemon, Hope You Happy Lemon, a lot, because it's like you get the perspective of both individuals, both parties, and even some like side characters. I just think that fleshes out everything better, and you don't have to, you know, spend damn near 400 chapters to get to this point of like plot development. But I digress. We're reading Rag. It's still pretty good. And yeah, basically Kazuya's just like, if push comes to shove, I have to tell her about my feelings. I have to confess to her. Like, dude, you've already confessed to her, I don't even know, at least 3+ times. So he's just thinking like, oh, now's the time to do it. Because it's like, you know, it's like the final countdown, you know? It's like, this is where it all happens. But yeah, he's just kind of nervous about breaking the ice and just starting the whole conversation up. He's thinking like, oh, maybe we can stall and like walk around the beach for a little bit. And yeah, he's just like, damn, I just should have drank more alcohol, man. And yeah, he finally is like, oh yeah, let's go over there. You know, let's move to another location. And then they see a couple and they're holding hands and they're walking back and they're like, so you want to head to a hotel after this? And it's just another one of those situations where Kazuya's just, you know, looking at them and just like, but this time he's not embarrassed. Basically what he's seeing now is that the hand holding, right? He's seeing the hand holding, and then he realizes, oh shit, we haven't held hands this whole time. And then basically he goes and spirals into like, he like doom spirals into like despair, basically saying that like, oh no, it's over, we didn't even hold hands this entire time. It's like, I don't know, man. But it is true. And he's saying like, oh, I guess the closer you are, you don't need to hold hands because you're connected by the heart. So basically Kazuya thinks that he hasn't won Chizuru over yet, which to me, I think he has. It's just hard for him to realize. So we'll just kind of see where it goes from there, but I think personally he's won her over. She would have ghosted him or, you know, kicked him out of the house if she really didn't like him. So yeah. And yeah, basically during this time he's holding out his hand, like he's like looking at it, he's staring at it, and he's like, damn, like he's just tearing up, like starting to cry. He's like, still, I don't know if I've won Mizuhara yet, or if like the date was a success, but that was still enough to make me happy, really happy. Like, so even though he didn't hold hands or, you know, whatever, he's still happy they went on the date, which is, you know, always good. You know, his happiness comes first, even if nothing comes out of it. But yeah, while he's holding out his hand, like he's looking at it, he's like, I never thought I'd be so happy to hold hands with her. I felt pretty dumb about it, but I let it sink in all for but 2 seconds. Wait, hold up. I'm just realizing something. This is a future Kazuya recollecting the situation that just happened to him. Okay, that makes more sense now. So basically, scratch whatever I just said, right? This whole thing is playing out. Yes, he looks at his hand and he realizes, oh shit, we haven't held hands or nothing. And he's like starts to cry. And then while this is happening, Chizuru comes in and like grabs his hand, and he looks surprised, and then she's like, wait a second, I want to talk with you right here. And that's the thing, during this time is like a future, like the monologue that's happening, because usually it's just like a monologue, you know, of present Kazuya talking about you know, what he's thinking right now. But this is like him recollecting on the situation, and the whole thing says, still, that didn't mean I won Mizuhara over, or that the date was a success. But that was enough to make me really happy. I never thought I'd be so happy not to hold hands with her. I felt pretty dumb about it all, but I let it sink in for all but 2 seconds. And right then, that's when the whole action happens, right? First, we get the panel of Chizuru holding the hand, and then we get a full double spread of Chizuru and Kazuya on the edge of the pier. And it looks pretty good. Honestly, you know, it's not the craziest artistic work, like detail-wise, but it does convey the correct emotion that it's trying to convey, which is that this is for real and that they do really like each other. So I'm not against. And then yeah, last page of the chapter, Chizuru's like, I want to talk with you right here. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully it's not like a flashback chapter, or we cut to something else, or you know, it most likely is gonna be some stalling behavior, but hopefully we just get straight to the action. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the chapter, man. For the future of it, I don't know. It really looks like it's treading in a direction where we're ending real soon. Like I could see the series ending in the next 5 chapters. There would be a lot of loose ends that just have not been, dealt with at all, which would not be the greatest ending, and it would end like most other rom-coms have ended, or any type of romance series that isn't like whatever shoujo for the most part, or like it's just kind of gonna end a little iffy because there's just so many loose ends tied up. I don't, it might be a thing with publishing where the author just has to finish up the series, but at this point I don't really think it is, because of how much of a grab Rent-A-Girlfriend does have. He does want to work on his new series, which is getting an anime and whatever, so I get that. But I just feel like at this point there's so many loose ends that just have not been tied down. Like, first of all, main point being Ruka, and that's like, even if just the Ruka whole thing was covered, I think I would be really content with the ending of the series, because Ruka, I just feel like, got shafted real early onto the series and then got brought back probably like a third into it, and then was kind of present throughout basically this whole time leading up, or like her presence was there, and the not looming whatever, but I feel like her being in the series was affecting Kazuya's decisions a little bit, because they had whatever, if it was like a rental date, but it was or not rental, it was like a trial relationship. I don't even know, I could go back and look, because I thought they were actually dating at this point, but it could still be the trial, or maybe they're not and I'm just bugging. But I still feel like Ruka's an important part in the series, and if she's not really covered, I feel like it's kind of a lackluster ending. Also, we have Mommy. She kind of, same thing as Ruka, got shafted, but then she got brought back up in Hawaiians for some reason, maybe just to bring tension in Hawaiians, to give Chizuru some more competition there, and put the pressure on her a little bit. But then she showed up right before the date, so I was assuming something was gonna happen during the date, but it really looks like nothing's happening. But yeah, man, I don't really know. And yeah, we have Yamori and Kibe, and what's the other dude's name, the little mole rat, Geronimo Stilton looking guy. But I mean, it's really, I guess it's fine if nothing happens. I just want the Ruka thing to happen. But yeah, I don't know. I think for the going forward with the, if Rent-A-Girlfriend does continue for a little longer, I would assume that Kazuya does not get the answer that he wants during this little confession mini whatever thing that's happening. It might be the biggest part of the series, so I shouldn't say mini, but I personally hope, and I want it to not go well, because the whole date has gone to me too smoothly. So I want it to not go well, and then there's more tension, more action in the series, but it really could just end in a couple of chapters. So I mean, that's really my 2 cents on it. But yeah, I guess I'll see y'all later.